Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another episode of Where Heartbreak Feels Good podcast. I'm your host for today, Edgar Ortega, and joining me today to break down everything that we watch in the month of March is my co-host, Evan Harris.
Hey, glad to be here. I was saying it last month that I'm excited to talk about March. March is going to be awesome. And I'm happy to tell you, March was indeed fantastic. Lots of great stuff from movies, TVs. I've been reading a lot more, I've had a good March. I've had a very good March. I haven't been as I don't know what the word for it is, like oversaturated as I thought I was going to be. Like I thought I was going to be movies and TV to the brim. But it's been good. I've been pacing myself.
Yeah.
I'm still behind on like some other TV shows, like Ted Lasso. I'm like an episode behind. I haven't started Yellow Jacket season 2 yet. But overall, for movies, I feel pretty good. Great month of movies.
Yeah, it feels like April is really gonna be the true first like packed month, and then starting May, every week for the next couple months through the summer.
Yeah, it feels like that. Even April alone, right? I think April is also. I don't know if it's going to be as crowded as March, but there's some big players coming out in April, like Evil Dead,
Mario.
the new anime film, Suzume from Mikoto Shinkai, from like Your Name and all that kind of stuff.
Are you gonna tell me you're not excited for the Exorcist Russell Crowe movie?
The Pope's Exorcist. Bring me the Pope. Awful trailer. Awful. No, I'm not excited for that. I'm not seeing that in theaters. I'm good. I'll pass. Sorry, Russell. Maybe he's in Gladiator too. We don't know.
Hey, a ghost.
Ghost, exactly. So I'm excited for April, but I think March is going to be. March just seems so packed compared to April. April has like your horror and then Mario.
And that's it, basically.
That's about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have some really good TV though.
I agree.
Started.
Succession has started. Barry is coming back in April.
Mm-hmm.
So HBO has us by the balls and it's not letting us go. Really, yeah. HBO, dude. I think since like House of the Dragon, it was House of the Dragon. Then a week later, White Lotus season 2, and then they take like a month break, I think, or a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for like the holidays.
Yeah, for the holidays. Then boom, Last of Us, and then a week, and then boom, Succession, and then Barry's gonna be airing during Succession. So it's just a lot.
What time is Barry airing? After or before?
During. So
at the same time.
Barry's coming out like April, 14th or the 21st, something like that.
So both on Sundays.
Both on Sundays.
Damn.
I assume it's gonna have similar to like Game of Thrones season 8, where Barry came out like right afterwards. So it's gonna be Succession and Barry back to back, just like I was Game of Thrones and Barry back to back, trying to keep your audience there. Exactly. But April's gonna be great. But let's talk about March. March. Let me pull up my letterbox. I haven't updated it since Dungeons yesterday. I reviewed Dungeons in Letterboxd because I saw it yesterday, but I did not rank Dungeons yet. You asked my favorite though overall.
No, I was gonna ask you what was the first thing you logged for March.
Okay, first thing. Let's go to my diary here. My first one for March was Creed 3. Yeah, March 8th was Creed 3. Do you have anything before that?
I was super late for the Creed party, but yeah. If you want to talk about Creed, let's talk about it.
Creed was terrible. No, I'm kidding. Creed was fantastic, dude. I had a blast with Creed 3. Nathan and I, over at My Cup of Tea on Nathan Rojas' channel, we did our commentaries for Creed 1, then Creed 2, building up to Creed 3. I just love this trilogy so much. It's a very simple trilogy, It follows the sports formula to a T, but it also adds so much gravitas through Michael B. Jordan, Sly Stallone's performances are incredible here. And even though Creed 3 doesn't have Sylvester Stallone, I love the chemistry between Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan. They were fantastic throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Um, I love that like brotherly relationship that they both had. Like just the whole backstory between Damien and Adonis was just so intriguing and interesting. Like you don't really see this a lot
Yeah.
with these kind of sports movies. It kind of reminded me of my favorite sports movie, Warrior, where like these two brothers like battling it out. It was great.
Yeah, I really like that. Like I said, I was kind of late to the party. Didn't watch it opening week. I think I watched it like maybe like a week and a half ago from
Mhm.
today. Um, but like yeah, one of the things that kind of surprised me was you know how usually in your Creed movies you have like the first fight that he has and he loses that one, and then
Yeah.
the last one is the one that he wins. I was surprised that this movie doesn't have that type of fight between both of them, between Majors
No.
and Adonis. Is just like is it's really like like a psychological fight between the two, like an emotional psychological fight between the two until the very end. And I thought that was very refreshing, and I thought Michael B. Jordan did a really good job at directing those scenes. Like, especially, I know a lot of people are giving him a lot of credit for that last fight scene because it's
Oh,
very
so
like
classic.
anime inspired, which it is, and it's great.
Totally. Yeah.
Um,
Beautiful.
but like the emotional stuff that he handles here is equally as impressive. Like, we're gonna talk about spoilers about everything that we just watched in the month of March, so
Yeah.
heads
Full
up. But like,
spoilers for Creed, John Wick, everything like that. Yeah.
yeah, so like the fact that like his mother essentially like dies in this
That was
movie, that was like,
wild.
and like it was kind of like necessary because like obviously
Mhm.
Stallone is not in this movie, so you need that kind of like mentor figure to be like very prominent in his life, and obviously what better option than his own mother. And just seeing that entire dynamic play out and like her reaction to like, oh, he's back, like referring to like Major's character, like all of that
Mhm.
was just like mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, Felicia Rashad has been so great in these movies. She's good in Creed 1. She's not in it a lot, but then she gets a lot of stuff to chew on in Creed 2, and then
Yeah,
she adds to it here in Creed 3. I was just surprised. The whole dementia aspect of it all was really sad and heartbreaking to watch. The final scene between her and Adonis on the bed was just heartbreaking. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, I agree with you, dude. I think Michael B. Jordan excelled with the fight scenes. Like as a huge anime fan, I love like the classic. I know he'd been saying in the press like the a lot of the Naruto inspired fight sequences, a lot of the other classic Dragon Ball Z influences with the fight. I love that kind of stuff. Even the last, yeah, especially the last fight where it's like all in their head and what they're really
yeah,
going through, like mentally. It's like the whole world around them disappears, and it's just these two brothers fighting for their own different paths. That was fantastic. But you're right, the emotional scenes really worked, and we didn't have him fighting Damien early in the movie, then losing. Right, like we had the whole a different side of Creed where he was kind of like the mentor, the trainer. He
yeah.
retired early. That part of the story surprised me. I didn't see that coming. Maybe I didn't watch the trailers enough, but I was like, oh wait, he's retired. He's not
Yeah, it
fighting
makes sense in
anymore.
the story though.
Yeah, it does. It totally does. And I like that they brought back, Drago. That was great.
That was really cool. Like seeing them like being buddies after like everything they went through in two. That was great.
It was amazing. It's also a classic anime thing, or just movies and TV in general, where it's like, oh, you're my rival, but then in the sequel, it's like, oh, now we're buddies. The same thing, like Fast and the Furious does it a lot, right? Where you
I
meet like
was just thinking about that too.
Jason Statham, you killed my friends. But hey, next time you're helping me save my child on an airplane. It's like, okay, this is weird. And then with his brother in the last movie, what was it fucking John Cena?
And
And
now
now he's
he's
like,
like the lovingly uncle in the trailers or ex.
yeah, he's like, you gonna do, John? Oh, come on, Dom. Like, come on. But whatever. But yeah, I just love that whole like trope where it's just like, okay, we're rivals, but now we're buddies. And that training sequence at the end between the different training sequences between Adonis and Damien, the music there was fantastic. I think this might have been my favorite like pre-final fight training sequence of the entire trilogy so far. It was
Uh-huh.
just really incredible to watch. Really great visuals. Um, but yeah, I loved everything here. Oh, especially the family dynamic. Like
the
The
daughter.
family stuff. The daughter was so cute, so adorable. And Bianca, Tessa Thompson's character, added a lot to her arc as well. You know, she's
Hmm.
struggling to produce her music, right? She's going down a path where she's like she can't contribute to her music anymore because of her hearing. It's progressively getting a little bit worse and worse with each film. So just
It's funny.
adding that layer was
It,
good.
yeah, it's funny because her and Damien kind of have like a similar uh, situation in their lives where they're like seeing other people live the lives that they wish.
Mm,
Like you have that contrast of like uh, Bianca like making peace with it, whereas Damien is like on a kind of a revenge path in a way.
exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she's like she didn't succumb to it, but she's accepting of her path, right? She's happy with her husband, she's happy with her daughter, and she's happy with her career. Meanwhile, Damien is just like he can't really accept it. You know, like Last Jedi, right? It's like he's not learning from his past. He can't let it go. So
Hmm.
it's really bringing everything down around him, even his own, even himself. But yeah, I thought Majors was great. I thought Michael B. Jordan was amazing. Um, so yeah, I had a great time with this movie. And then like it's so funny because they were theorizing like what can we do for Creed 4? But I'm like, this is a great ending for me. I can't really see
Yeah,
where they could possibly go for Creed 4. I like that Amazon. Some people don't, but I do like that Amazon Prime or Studios or whatever is like thinking about spin-offs. Like I wouldn't mind a spin-off with the daughter. Like I walked out of the theater like, it would be funny and kind of fun if we had a spin-off with her daughter, with their daughter. And then to have like Amazon even consider that as a possibility, it's rumors right now, but I would be down for it.
I wouldn't mind like if they continue this universe like with like the anime road, like just make like TV
Yeah,
shows
that's
like
true.
about the daughter, like Adonis becoming the trainer, becoming the Rocky to her Adonis in a way. But yeah, like that entire last sequence of like him in the ring with her, like that was just very moving and like a great
Hmm.
note to end this trilogy.
Very sweet.
And, yeah, on that note, how would you rank these movies before we move on to the next thing?
Oh God.
Because for me it's very easy. I
One through
like all,
two.
yeah, 1 through 2.
Oh, you have pause there for a second. I think he was going to say 132. I think that makes the most sense. 'Cause I think one has like the picture perfect reboot sequel aspect to it, where one is mostly all about um, like Adonis coming into himself, kind of like that classic hero's journey with him and Sly Stallone. Um, Kugler did so much with Creed 1. I think just that groundwork alone is just fantastic. And then 3 has the great family dynamic. You get the back and forth between him and Damien. It's a very personal movie. And I do love 2. I like 2 a lot on repeat viewings. I didn't love it on first viewing, but on repeat viewing, especially this latest commentary that I did last month in the lead up to Creed 3, Nathan and I, we really appreciated Creed 2. Felicia Rashad, like I mentioned earlier, did very, very well in Creed 2. I like the dynamic between him and Rocky. It's a bit, lack of a better word, it's a bit rocky in Creed 2 with him wanting to prove again how he's outside of his father's legacy. But he's also Adonis. He also can't escape his father's legacy. So he's trying to do two things at once, and that diverging path is very interesting to follow as he tries to like redeem his father's legacy, but also carve out a legacy of his own by fighting Drago. I mean, a guy who was raised in hate. And Drago also gets a little bit of a good arc of his own with his father. Um, uh, I mean, not the Drago from like the classic movies, but the son of Drago, Victor. I forget his name, whatever. But Victor and his father Drago, it's like they have a great dynamic, and the whole aspect with the mother character, kind of like not really following them was very interesting as well. Welcome back.
My Wi-Fi turned off for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, this is why
You're all good.
sometimes it's not a good idea to do it live.
All good, all good. I just went on a rambling about Creed 1 and 3, or 1 and 2. But yeah, you said the same thing, right? 1, 3, 2. I think that's the route, right?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 for me.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't see it coming. But yeah, I think I appreciated. I was just telling the audience, I appreciated 2 a bit more on a rewatch. I think it's a very personal film.
Yeah.
And I like the whole. It's a bit slower, but I like those slow moments between him and Bianca, and as she's like pregnant, as she's going through it. Like they both have great parallel arcs. Her, and Adonis, in Creed 2. I like the whole family angle on both sides. I think, like I was mentioning, Drago's whole not trauma. I guess you could say trauma with like Russia basically turning his back on him, and his own mother turning his back on their family, based purely on like their reception and their clout. So they both had like these heartbreaking things weighing on them, and then that final fight is just glorious to watch.
Yeah.
So great job for Steven Caple Jr., who's going to be doing Transformers this
In a
this
couple
summer.
months.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And let me bring in Josh in here finally. Hey,
Oh, here we
there
go,
it
man
is.
of the hour.
Sure, I made it
What's up?
In
what's up,
time,
what's
right?
right in time. Where are we at?
up? We just finished up
Uh,
Creed 3.
Creed 3, good.
Creed 3, good, very good. How would you
Nice.
also
Probably-
rate it, by the way?
My least favorite. No, I don't know. I think that's really good. But Creed 1 is just special.
Creed 1
Yeah.
is iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the best. I had 1, 3,
I will
2.
say
Um,
the score, not good. Not good at all.
wow.
Because like it just doesn't respect the themes that Ludwig Göransson did. Like, they're barely in there.
I disagree. I mean, I don't listen to the Creed scores a lot outside of the main
The
one.
Creed 1 score is like incredible.
Yeah, I love Creed 1 score. I can't really get into Creed 2 score besides that finale. That finale fight had a great score to it.
Such a good moment when it comes to the theme, the Rocky theme comes in at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
good.
But I think Creed 3 for me, I like the personal dynamic between Majors and Jordan more so than like Michael B. Jordan and Drago.
Yeah, that dynamic is really good. And Majors, say what you will, obviously with all the shit going on right now, but he's he's fantastic. in this
He's
film.
amazing. Yeah, he was amazing. In that. So yeah.
Oh shit! Wait.
Every time Josh is breaking news on
Wait, no, this is huge. Reportedly, Phoebe Waller-Bridge in talks to write and direct the next Bond movie.
Wow, Amazon must really love her. Jesus,
Holy shit! Love that.
that's great. Not Amazon, right? Is Amazon MGM?
Yeah, it is
now,
Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's MGM, but they bought MGM, so
Same thing. Yeah. That's awesome. What did she just write recently? Was it
she
Indiana
wrote
Jones?
No Time to Die,
In No Time to Die?
or she did the final draft on it.
Did she? Yeah. Yeah, No Time to Die, and then
And Fleabag, obviously.
did she touch Indiana Jones? Is that all?
She's starring in it.
She's just starring
like
in it.
the
She didn't
co-lead.
write anything. Okay,
No,
got it.
she also did that HBO show, A Run, I think it was called. With
Oh yeah.
I liked it. Donald Gleason and
That was
Mary
fine.
Weaver.
I think
I
the
thought it was
ending,
good.
the ending left a lot to be desired. But I like
And
the first
HBO just
one.
fucking axed it for some reason.
But I didn't like the ending. I think where could you go? With it? Like, are they going to go?
Yeah,
on
the ending
her
was.
crazy?
I don't remember much of about the ending, but I thought the chemistry was really
The
good.
chemistry was great. You know, can't go wrong with Donald Gleason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Creed was fantastic. It's still like my number it's like my number 3 or 4 favorite movie.
Yeah.
I
That
love
final
Creed.
fight sequence is
So good.
so good.
It had me so energized in the movie theater. I was so excited. So Creed 3 came out, and then a week later we had Scream.
I rewatched the whole Scream series before.
Me
Scream
too.
6.
Neat. Wow. I did that before Scream 5. I didn't go back and rewatch any of them.
Gotta do it every year whenever there's a new one.
I watched it for the first time before Scream 5. Then I went back and rewatched all of them.
Oh wow, you guys try hard, Scream hards over here. Okay. What did you guys?
I was-
think of Scream 6?
rewatching Scream 1 still cannot be touched. Incredible masterpiece.
I agree.
Scream 4 and Scream 2, like, I think are my favorite sequels, maybe.
Yeah. Scream 2.
I'd probably
still has,
go
like, the-
after Scream 6, I'd probably go Scream 2, Scream 6, then 4 and 3.
You have
It's
6 at number 2.
hard.
3 after Scream 2.
Oh, okay, good. Me too.
I'm not the biggest Scream 2 fan, actually. I like Scream 2.
See, I used to be like that, but then I rewatched it and it worked a lot for me on this.
Maybe I should rewatch it.
That opening of Scream 2,
the opening's great.
just probably as good, if maybe a little bit like less as good.
The
than
killer reveals are
original.
fucking great with Leaf Shriver and he's on killer, but with
No. Homeboy from Mandalorian.
Timothy Olyphant and the
Timothy
mom, yeah, and Laurie Metcalf.
That's Laurie Metcalf, you're right. Holy shit, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
For me, and Scream 2 still has probably the best chase sequence in the entire saga.
Oh yeah.
With,
I don't know. Scream 6.
Scream 6 has some great stuff, but I love the one with where she's just chasing Gale throughout the sound studio.
Oh yeah.
The sound
Fantastic.
stand, yeah.
The Dewey
Fantastic.
fake out. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's a lot of great stuff there. You know, the kill in the minivan in the broad daylight, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scream 2 is really good. Also, Scream 2 is the one where they're in the car too at night, and that's a great sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Scream 2 is pretty good.
It's the university.
Pretty good.
Scream 3 remains really mid.
Oh yeah, I think it's like it worked a lot better, but it's still a mess. You can see like
it's a victim
Wes
of the writers
trying to make a shit Hollywood all
Everybody
exposing all
blames
abuse and
the
stuff.
yeah.
Then,
Everybody blames the writers'
Harvey
strike, but
Weinstein produced
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Harvey
I mean,
Weinstein.
because like they wanted to do 2 killers and they dropped it down to 1 killer. So all
And
this
Sydney
setup,
doesn't even know the killer.
right?
That's the funny part.
It's so messy. Yeah, it's like I think because there's all this like preamble to like I forget the actress, but it's like the one actress is wearing like the blue shirt all the time. It's like she was going to be the second killer, but then they scrapped that idea. So all the lead up to her being the
Parker
second
Posey?
killer. Is it her? Parker Posey?
The one who plays Gale
Gail?
No.
in Stab.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was going to be like the second killer, but then they scrapped the idea and they have it be him and the whole reasoning. And then, I just don't really vibe with Scream 3. It's not bad though. It's still pretty fun, but it's my least favorite, of course. But I think I go 1, 4, 6, 2, 1, 4, 6, 2, or 1, 4, 2, 6.
4 is great. I've always loved 4. Like,
4 is fun.
The Bloomy cinematography is really cheesy, and I think it works. And the kill reveal with Emma Roberts is incredible. Probably like the best one of the series for me, besides 1.
I agree. Yeah, she's definitely the best killer.
Yeah.
Probably, I like her probably the best. She's probably my favorite.
Stu and what's the fucker's name? Billy, yeah, that's still my favorite.
Yeah,
just because Matthew Lillard is so good in that movie.
Matthew Lillard's great. But you're right. I love the 1 to 4 as well. 4 also, I think the only nitpick I have with 4 is that certain sequences are just a little bit like, how did they get there? Like some of the not intellectual moments, but just some of the sequences don't really like make sense in terms of like how A got to.
They're not very memorable too.
Until the third act, it's not.
Yeah, until the third act, which is great.
Like for me, like there's a low bar in Scream 4, like the whole the part where they're at the cabin or whatever. I think it's Gale or somebody. So the cabin, that whole sequence is just so messy for me. I'm like, how did they know she was there and what's going on here? But I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, the ending for Scream 4 is iconic. I love the ending of Scream 4.
Yeah, that final shot is just like incredible. Where she's like,
But Scream 6,
Scream 5 before we hit Scream 6.
Oh, sure.
Not my favorite.
I like Scream 5. I really
Bob.
I liked it a bit more, but like it's really hit and miss. I think the killer reveal is really good, but it just tries to be smarter than it actually is for me.
I don't think it does.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think it is messy at points in terms of like the killer.
Like Scream 6 is everything I wanted from Scream 5.
That's fair.
But 6 without
What?
Scream 5.
I know that, but still.
But I think some of the killer reveals in Scream 5 are great. I think some of the sequences though were just very not tame, but of course compared to Scream 6 they're very tame. But for me, the Scream
Yeah.
5 sequences are just like one point to the next point. They don't really connect that well throughout the movie. The killing sequences.
The 5
Um,
or 6?
for 5.
Yeah.
I didn't have that complaint with 6. I think 6 melded very well from point A to point B. But 5 was kind of like very disparate, very different. But also it was very samey, which I guess they had to be because it was like the reboot ish of the franchise. And the cast was solid, but they are excelled upon like in Scream 6. Like I love their chemistry way more.
The core 4.
They feel like an actual core 4 in Scream 6 than Scream 5, where they're just like chilling. But I think the acting though was really good in Scream 5. Jenna Ortega had a great first sequence. And contrary to public opinion, I guess people did not like Melissa Barrera in Scream 5.
I think she's better in 6.
She's better for sure.
I didn't hate her in 5 though. I thought she was good.
People were like, I remember in the lead up to
Scream
6, the Twitter was like, "Oh, Jenna Ortega is going to destroy Melissa Barrera in this movie." I'm like, what is happening with Scream fans all of a sudden?
It is funny that
Melissa
like Jenna Ortega like obviously had a much bigger role in 6 because she's blown up since then.
Oh yeah,
Like
and
with Wednesday and Ets and stuff.
yeah, the 20 people that saw X. But I did enjoy Jenna's role in Scream 6 a lot more. Where of course, she got a lot more stuff to do outside of being in that damn wheelchair, and she's great in Scream 6. Yeah, I think Scream 6 did a lot of things that I was hoping for from the Scream franchise for a long time. Like 1 to 2 had like the campus that I liked. 3 had the Hollywood set. 4 they went back to Woodsboro. 5 they went back to Woodsboro. 6, I'm like, finally, we're leaving fucking Woodsboro.
Something fresh.
It's fresh. No more suburbs. We were stuck in those fucking suburbs for like over a decade.
And the opening sequence in 6 is just god tier. So good.
This is
mind blowing. Yeah.
It's a great example of a setting feeling like a character, because New York as a place is like very terrifying for these characters, because like nobody gives a shit like if you're being stabbed in the street. Like they'll
the
just
subway scene.
Yeah, the subway scene
is so good.
Even the liquor store scene.
Yeah.
Everybody just runs away. Like they're not gonna stay there to help you. Like, and that even elevates the tension in the scene. So yeah, going to another city was a smart move for them.
Totally. And let me tell you my thought process going through that first sequence for Scream 6. I was, me, the biggest Willow fan of all time. I love Willow. So as soon as I hear Tony Revolori's voice, I'm like, wait. I'm like, this is definitely.
You didn't know he was
Tony.
in
it? I knew he was in it.
Oh, from the phone. Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, so this is definitely Tony. So they're already telling me he's a killer. Like, granted, I'm a Tony fan, so I just know his voice. But I'm like, what's gonna happen here? Because I already know the reveal before he even took off the mask. So I'm like hearing him. He's dragging homegirl down the alley, and I'm like, okay, he's definitely bad.
I was
like,
sad Smart Weaving was the opening kill. I
Have you all
wanted to be a killer, but it was the best way possible to do that.
It was really good, and it was gnarly as fuck. It was brutal. And then like he removes his mask. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is happening? Like that whole reveal was just wild to me. Like just we're seeing the killer in the flesh for the first time in the first 5 minutes of the movie. That was just super surprising. I loved it though. And then he's the one that gets killed in the apartment with a great sequence. It was just hot and cold and it's tense as fuck. It was amazing. It was wild to me. I loved this. Yeah.
Another one of the things about that sequence about the cold and worms scene is that I really love that very early on we established that whoever is the killer, even though I don't like who ends up being the killer because I think they're very boring characters, but like the idea that the killer behind Ghostface is like somebody who genuinely doesn't give a fuck about the movies, about the staff movies within this universe. I think like who gives a fuck about movies? And then the title card, great.
That had me energized with the entire movie. Who gives a fuck about? Like it was just so you can hear the anger. You can hear the like they don't get like they said they don't give a fuck. So like you hear the anger, you hear like the disconnect there. It was so good, so cool. It was riveting as hell. And then the movie just doesn't stop from there. Like we get some great character work, and again the great character work that was kind of minimal in Scream 5, though I really like it. We get some great character work between Melissa Barrera.
Yeah, that's the highlight of this movie is the character work.
She's just struggling with like the trauma of it all, both from like her own past, but also from society who doesn't think like, or who thinks that she's the one that killed Richie. And it was like, what the hell? But it's actually kind of plausible if like you're not watching the movie. So yeah, it made sense from her like trauma point of view. And then you have Tara. Is Tara her name, right? Jenna Ortega's character.
Yeah.
Tara's character who's like, it's a cliche, right? Where you have like the overprotective sibling who's doing too much, but the younger sibling kind of like wants to spread their wings. But I kind of liked it. It was a good trope, and it worked very well with Tara's character. And she has a lot more to do in this movie. She is a lot more independent. I love her relationship with a homeboy. I forget his name. Chad. Chad is fantastic. He's pretty much like the Sokka character from Avatar: Last Airbender, where he's
also like the Dewey of the Core 4.
Yeah, he's a dude. Like he's a funny comedic relief, but also overprotective and can put up a fight if he really needs to. So he was fantastic. I just loved it. And their romance could have been very cheesy, could have been very like forced, but it worked. I like their chemistry together. I really liked them. I really liked the whole romance overall. Because Scream franchise can go back and forth with the romance. Like you get the Gale stuff, which is great. Gale and Dewey, I mean. But other parts of the romance without this franchise has been like up and down for me. But Chad and Tara were great. And of course, it's such a great romance where you get to the ending and you think Chad is done. He should be dead. He should be, for all intents and purposes.
It's Scream.
He was stabbed like what? 20,000 times in the chest.
Dewey gets stabbed in every movie and he always lives.
Exactly.
He gets stabbed in the back like once. Like a knife hits his back. He's like, ah. But this guy got stabbed 17 so times by two killers.
It was egregious, but I don't care because he's great and I want him back.
Oh,
he has muscles, Evan.
Yeah, his muscles, yeah. If that was me, I'd have been dead after the first stab. I'd have been dead. But it was great because like the audience like was like in shock. We were like, no, like it was crazy. Like it reminded me of that scene. Big spoiler for like The Last of Us Part 2, but like when Homeboy gets killed by Abby in Last of Us, I'm just like, oh my god, like it's just so shocking because a beloved character just gets killed out of nowhere. But then when he came back, it made no sense. But I didn't give a fuck. So I'm like, thank God the Core 4 is still here. Scream 7 would have been so different without him. Like it wouldn't have worked. I'm so happy that we get to keep our Core 4 here. I love these characters so much. And even what was the sister's character's name? Mindy, fantastic. I loved her in Scream 5. She was hilarious in Scream 5, and she is super fucking funny in this one. She's hilarious. And then she also gets her girlfriend too, gets brutally killed. Wow.
She got the John Wick treatment with the
It was not great. I mean, let's talk about that. The whole ladder sequence in between the alleyway, awesome, fucking tastic. Just seeing Guy over like the other side of the window, just like, get on your phone. The killer is inside the building. That was wild. And I'm so good at like checking these killers, like with the mystery of it all. Like in the last movie, I called that it was Richie. I was like, it's definitely Richie, but I didn't know who the other one was. But in this one, I'm like, okay, it's not the big mysterious boyfriend. He's kind of like the one that you guys want us to think it is. So it's definitely not him. But I called it being the cop. I was like, the cop is in this somehow. Like the cop is like, I suck.
You want to know how I knew? No father. I talk about this with Trey over here in his podcast, but I'll say it again here. No father, especially a father that's a cop, would just leave his daughter unprotected with the main targets of a killing spree.
Yeah.
That's true, man.
Yeah, didn't he like get a warning? They were like yeah, I think she was like, oh yeah, my father's a cop, so I'll be fine, or something like that. Like they tried to disguise it somehow to try and like
Yeah.
pull us off of it. But you're right, like that just plain and simple. If my daughter is friends with these two people who just were nearly killed less than 24 hours ago, you're coming with me. You're staying at the police station. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah.
But then yeah, I had no idea it was even like the redhead girl who was killed. Like that's the classic. Oh, she's dead, so she can't be the killer thing. That got me. I was pretty damn fooled. But for the shy kid who was mysteriously gone and comes back like, hey, I had a test. I was like, that's sus as fuck. But when the characters say that's also sus, like everybody was on him the entire movie. I'm like, so it can't be him, right?
It's weird that was Spider from Avatar 2 also.
Oh yeah, that's really weird too. Really weird.
Mm. And
well,
not the best.
uh,
Not the best actor, but it's fun.
he was fine. I still don't like him in Avatar 2. But he'll get better in Avatar 3, Evan. No, he was terrible in Avatar 2.
Well, that's the point, though.
But to be a bad actor, that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know, Bob. But speaking of Avatar, real quick, having just saw Dungeons and Dragons, Chris Pine's daughter, I was like, her voice sounds so familiar. Where the fuck is she from? And then she's the daughter in Avatar 2. She's like the little girl. She's like the youngest
Wait,
daughter.
really?
Yes.
Oh.
Wait, what
Yeah.
daughter?
The youngest one, the one that was always getting in trouble and shit.
Oh, really? Like
what's
the
her-
young kid?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
young
What's her
soldier?
name?
That's the
Tuck.
touch. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not the one
yeah.
played by Ripley. The other one.
That's Kira.
That's Kira. It was the other one. It's like the youngest daughter.
Yeah.
And of course, because they filmed Avatar 2 years ago, so she's obviously aged up by now. But apparently, she was also in 65. I didn't know that was her in 65 as well. The girl in 65, Adam Driver's daughter, was also Chris
I
Pine.
forgot you saw 65.
I
You
watched
invited
it
10
too.
people. You invited 5 people.
The Adam Driver fandom came out. We supported it.
Bridget fell asleep.
Oh no! Can't say I blame her. But yeah, she's like typecast in terms of like these mixed daughters role, like Adam Driver's daughter, Chris Pine's daughter. It's like who's next? Yeah. Overall, though, yeah, Scream 6 was incredible, gory as fuck, brutal, bloody. I love the direction from the duo. I forget their names right now. But yeah, overall, I had a fucking awesome time with Scream. Like those movies in the theater with a packed audience is hard
It's
to beat.
fun.
It's super fun.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I was just so invested, more so than a lot of other Scream movies. I was just so invested in these characters because the character work was so good that it just added to like all the chase sequences, the bar, the ladder, even the climactic sequence. Like they tried to bait me with Kirby, but I knew it wasn't Kirby. So I was like, what's really happening here? And like I kind of we can't go into like the complaints here. I do agree with Edgar that the killers are pretty bland. One of my favorite parts about the Scream movies is trying to determine who they are and why. That's like the intellectual fun part about it. And then you get to it and it's like who they are is interesting. They're family of Richie. That's very cool. That's interesting. But then like the reasoning is pretty weak and I don't know much about them.
Yeah, like my problem with it is that like a lot of most of the Scream movies, except for 3, all of the killers prior to the reveal, they have like pretty solid personalities, like a solid 8. And then once the reveal happens, you turn it up to 11, and it's really fun to see it play out. Here, like none of the killers prior to the reveal, they're like at best at a 5 of interest, and like once that turn to 11 happens, it's just like okay, like
there is very like stereotypes.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
The nerd, the roommate, the cop.
I think the best one that did it, like Wes Craven's Scream 1 was the best at like establishing,
because they were already so like and
over the top.
Yeah, they're
over the top and like in the plot.
Yeah, they're in the plot. Scream 4 as
Yeah.
well. It was like both those characters.
And Matthew Lillard in that movie is already at a 10, so he just goes up to a 15 once the kill reveal happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. Scream 4 is the same way. Where it's like, oh, like these characters are throughout the movie. You see them a lot. They're the best friends of Jill and all that.
Emma Roberts is the lead.
Emma Roberts is basically the lead. Yeah. In Scream 2, like Timothy Olyphant's throughout the movie, he's pretty solid. The mom is
surprise, but
sparingly, but we get just enough to establish who she is, why
Like,
she's at the campus.
Her rivalry with Gail is also like pretty solid.
Even 5, like Richie is the boyfriend. He's an interesting character, and Mikey Madison is the friend, but she at least has personality.
She has a personality. It's like she's so distinctive as an actress. Like it's hard to forget about her. In this one, it's like basically one of them dies early on, so it's like you basically do forget about her, and then the other one, the brother, is just like.
I didn't hate this reveal. I think it's one of the weakest of the series, but it's still a fun one, and
it's still super fun. Yeah, I think it's fun basically because of who they are. Like they're the family of Richie. I'm just like, oh come on, like, and you become so invested in the whole.
I like the idea a lot.
You become so invested in the Richie plot because of what's going on with Tara. It's fun.
Same from Scream 2, like where where
Billy's mother comes back,
and Billy's mother comes back, and it's like, oh, you did this to my boy, and then this one's like, you did this to my boy as well. So it's like that whole familial connection made the reveal a little bit better than it could have been.
I think what's make it interesting too, slightly interesting at least in the finale, is that none of these 3 characters give a shit about movies, like I said earlier, which is pretty established in the beginning of the movie. So seeing them kind of like trying to navigate through the tropes of horror is fun, but again, like those characters are just not the best written ones.
And it's very different from like Richie who loved the Stab movies, who, you know, a recent fan to them, but he loved them, and then they supported his love of it, and then they're like, oh wow, it got our son killed. So yes, Scream, Creed, great starts to March. What else did you guys watch in the early March here?
I rewatched The Fabelmans before the Oscars. Great movie. Loved it even more. I watched
Women Talking. Really
great
good movie.
I watched all the animated short films for the Oscars. We already talked about that on the stream, but Ice Merchants, incredible. Go watch it.
Ice Merchant animated short.
Rewatched John Wick Chapter 3. Great movie. Rewatched Babylon for the 6th time.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about that real quick. Nathan and I did the John Wick trilogy rewatch, and those movies were just incredible, just amazing, great action movies. I appreciate, because I used to think 2 was the best. Like I used to have like 2 very high up for me because I love like.
It's weird. My order is just like 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like order of release, but I think they keep getting better.
For me, like I enjoy 2, but on rewatch, I'm like, maybe 2 isn't as great as I remember it being. Like the
1, like I respect 1 for what it's doing, for how smaller scale it is, but I just think the sequels are a lot better, and the world building is a lot better.
The world building's definitely like expanded upon in the sequels, but for me, I think 1, I probably go 1, 3, 2. 1, 3, 2 is probably my ranking before this one came out. Scream, John McFord obviously my favorite now, but I probably went 1, 3, 2. I think 2 is fine. It's relentless, but it's also like has the weaker antagonist, and Ruby Rose doesn't do much for me. But I do like the House of Mirrors action. I do like the Common stuff. I do like you on the job, John? Yeah. and then like the whole Roman sequence is really awesome.
Can we get Shazam out of the way?
Yeah, please. Skittles commercial.
Definition of mid.
It was fine. Yeah, it was really.
It was better than I thought it was going to be, but still not great.
That cameo is atrocious.
It makes no sense. It ruins the movie for me. Like, it just takes all the states away.
It was weird because I was like, oh, cool, she's in here. I thought she was going to add a lot more to the movie, but then she basically solves it.
And they spoiled it in a TV spot.
They spoiled the last scene of the movie, essentially.
Yeah.
It's really weird. So, because, like, spoilers for Shazam, obviously. But, so he died. He sacrificed himself, which I thought was pretty solid. I was like, okay, good.
You should
Solid
have kept
arc
it
for
like that. I
Sam.
would have been sold with that. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have like he shouldn't stay dead. But
Why not?
why you can't kill off Shazam? It wouldn't have made any sense. But I liked the sacrifice. I knew he was gonna come back, but the way he came back was a bit like
It was
weird
so bad.
for me. It was like didn't she like revive him, right? She grabbed the staff or she did something with it and then helped.
She just fits the
Yeah.
staff and restored
fits the
because
staff.
she's a demigod.
Yeah.
She just saved the day for some reason.
It was
Erased
weird.
all the states of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think I wouldn't say all the stakes because
Yeah, she gave him her powers back. She revived him.
No,
She
because
restored powers to this fucking place.
Wait.
I don't know.
I mean, I would say the stakes were pretty much solved when he sacrificed himself. I wouldn't say the ending part does away with that. I mean, of course he gets revived, but I would say his sacrifice, the big emotional moment, still did his justice.
And it's on that dude. It's solved when she comes in. And
Well,
she
I think
comes
again,
and
I think it
gets
had to get
revived.
solved either way. You
It would
can't
have been
just
more
kill
interesting
off-
movie if he wasn't though.
You just kill off Shazam. Good night.
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing I had like I can't remember. Yeah, in Ant-Man Quantumania, it's like would have been cool if he like stayed in the quantum realm.
There's actually a plan
Possibly,
though
but, like
with
no.
that. Wait, we don't know what the fuck's happened with Shazam.
The plan doesn't affect the movie. I don't give a fuck about a plan.
Oh well, I don't care. I just think it would have been a better movie if he stayed dead and like someone else in the family was the main character if they went forward.
See, I don't know because part of me, I also just hate sacrifices in general. So it's like I hate. It's like I'm gonna.
Oh, it was doomed to begin with. Yeah, I just don't think the whole in the movie was good.
the tone of the movie is a family film. It's adventurous. I like that part of it. I think it would have soured the movie just to kill off Billy for just supporting his family. Because like, what are you teaching the audience there?
It would have been something interesting though, whereas this movie is just so blah.
I wouldn't say it's blah. It's definitely like it's not as personal as the first movie. But
I will say Rachel Zegler is innocent because she's straight.
Yeah, she's really great. I think the whole family.
Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren phoned it in. They got that check.
I actually like Lucy Liu in this. Helen Mirren was pretty basic, but I like Lucy Liu a lot in this.
Jack Dylan Grazer is good. I will say that.
He's the best friend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, he was awesome. I like his chemistry with Rachel.
But yeah, just once I left the theater, totally forgot about this movie.
Forgot about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just
pretty forgettable. But I like the family dynamic in this. The family dynamic is pretty solid. It's like they expanded upon what the first movie ended with, which was like, hey, we all have powers. And this one's like, okay, we have powers, but then now what? And they did a lot of that. I wish they focused more on the family dynamic instead of just because it started off really cool where I'm like, oh, they all have cool powers, but they also want to do more. Like she wants to go to college. He wants to be Jack Dylan Grazer's character wants to be a superhero, wants to do all this stuff, but then Billy's kind of like trying to keep them all together, even though they all want to go on and do their own things. Like I was like, okay, very interesting arc. I think the movie fails because it focuses too much on like the MacGuffin of it all. It's like, oh, we have to find the staff, or we have to do like it became like a search and rescue kind of movie instead of it focusing on the family dynamic, which I thought was like the best part of the first act. And then I like the ending with the emotional sacrifice, but I just didn't like the whole New York Skittles moment and they were just trying to give the family something to do at the end there.
Yeah. Can I say something about Levi real quick?
Exactly. Yeah.
He
should have played Jack Dylan's grown-up self.
He does not fit Asher Angel.
He does not fit.
He does not fit Billy.
It's weird for me. Because I agree with you for this movie, but he worked for me in the first one. I thought he was really good.
Oh, he worked
a bit more. He's fine in the first one.
Yeah, but like
this one,
you can obviously tell Asher Angel's like that character, that version of the character is going through some fucking shit right now.
Exactly,
and it's not translated with Zachary Levi at all.
That was the interesting thing because like that was a great part of the movie where it's like his. Literally, the movie opens up with him talking to a therapist. Like,
Asher Angel in both these movies is fucking great. Like everything he does, he gets to do, even though it's a small amount. He's great in it.
I totally agree. And we see this part in the trailer, but it's like when they're on top of the parking lot and they're talking with his family, he's like, I know what I have to do, Mom. I have to sacrifice myself. It's like, okay, like this stuff was really good. I like
He
the whole.
automatically transformed Levi and gives a wink. Like, what?
I know. I'm like, wait, whoa, go back to that, because I was so invested in his character. Oh, and then his stuff with Jack Dylan Grazer, like when they're at school, and is like they are on totally different ways.
I don't even hate Zachary Levi as an actor. I think he's fucking great in Mrs. Maisel when he comes in season 2.
Yeah,
he's good,
really good. Yeah,
I think in this movie, I don't know. It's weird. It's like they had him be more goofier than the first one, even though
it makes no sense.
Even though Billy's growing up, so it's like, how are you growing up, but then acting goofier than you were when you were like 16?
And you're like managing a team and stressing about it.
Yeah, you have more responsibility, and he talks about that. Like he has more responsibility for his family, but then it gets ripped away when he turns to Billy or whatever, Shazam.
Yeah.
So it was just a really weird dichotomy, and I feel bad. I think David.
It sucks because all the other Shazam family translates so well to their respective adult characters, like the youngest one, like when she's older, like you could tell that's the same character because she still plays it young. It's so good. Same with Adam Brody.
I agree, 100%.
Jack Dylan Grazer, right? They're very similar.
Totally. It was just a weird dichotomy in this movie. I think David F. Sandberg did a really solid job directing this overall.
That's what you could do,
I like the effects.
Let him cook a horror movie again.
Let him go back to horror, please, dear God.
Oh, just do what he likes. If he wanted to do another superhero movie, I'd be fine with it. I just think this one was a weird experience for him. Yeah. Even though I liked all the behind the scenes stuff he's been posting online. Like the whole dragon stuff.
He seems like a good guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's great. I love listening to his interviews and stuff. And like the effects in general, like we shit on Ant-Man, but the effects here are pretty solid across the board.
The Daughters of Atlas effects, like when Rachel, that character,
awesome
and stuff, that's really good. Yeah,
that's one of the coolest powers I've ever seen. I'm like, can I have that superpower? That's really cool.
The power of Axis or whatever.
Yeah, power of Axis to change shit around. Like, that was really awesome. Really cool effect there. But yeah, overall, unfortunately, it's just a middle of the road superhero. I've seen a lot worse. But yeah, it's just definitely middle of the road.
All right, so where do we want to go from here? Do we want to go into TV? Because there's a lot of TV to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Sure, we can take a break here. So about some TV. Yeah. What have you been watching?
Daisy Jones.
Let's do this, Edgar.
That's so
incredible show. Evan, you would love this series.
Okay, Evan, let me tell you this. You know how everybody always keeps asking for like good horny romances? This is it. This is it.
And it's enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, now I gotta watch it. Damn. Damn. Enemies to lovers. I do love that. How many episodes is this shit?
10.
10?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Limited series, though. Yeah.
Okay.
For now.
You sold me on the enemies to lovers. Let me look this shit up. So it's
basically just like, do you know Fleetwood Mac, right? The band?
Fleetwood Mac, sure.
Yeah, it's basically just like a fictionalized version of Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, with all the drama and all that too.
It's like something that I really like about this show is that it takes the tropes of like your typical musical biopic, but like by essentially being like a 10-hour story, like you actually
it lets them develop more.
Yeah, you give a shit about these characters, about each individual like member of the band, and like you let them develop, and you don't just like brush over like the drug phase that the characters go through. Like you actually get to see it and experience it with that
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
The relationships are really good. The dynamics between the actors are incredible. Like Sam Claflin and Riley Keough, both of their best work yet, I think.
Oh, best work. Riley's really good.
She's so fucking good in this. Zola, obviously. What else has she done?
I feel like I've seen
Mad Max Fury Road.
Under the Silver Lake, she was good in.
Logan Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Logan. Oh yeah, was she the sister of Logan Lucky?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I remember.
Did you watch Zola, Evan?
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah.
She was good in The Lodge. The Lodge is good.
The Lodge, yeah, that's the other one.
But yeah, like even just the music itself is just like incredible. Like this is gonna go down as one of my favorite albums of the year already. Like it's great.
It's just so catchy, and I've been listening to it nonstop as well, and it's just great.
it just really does a really good job at capturing the vibes of the 70s and the 60s.
Yeah.
But with
You can
slightly
very
more-
obviously tell it's inspired by Fleetwood Mac, but like I don't really care because that's what it's going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good biopic musical like biopic drama.
Who's the competition right now for like the acting categories in limited series for the Emmys?
Swarm, Dominic Fishback.
Swarm.
Was that for what?
For limited series best actor / actress.
Oh yeah, I need to finish Swarm, but Dominic Fitzpatrick in that first episode like already should be nominated.
Yeah.
Between Dominic and Riley there, but besides that, I don't know what other limited series is.
Let me check Gold Derby.
But yeah, obviously those are the two big ones.
For actress, Olivia Olsen and Love and Death, which is coming up.
Oh, HBO, right?
Yeah. Then, Chastain, George and Tammy.
Oh, George and Tammy,
Which I think was a Showtime thing.
Heard about that one.
And that Western series for Amazon that came out.
Western for Amazon.
It's the English. I haven't watched it, but
Yeah, I haven't heard about that one. So what's next? Daisy Jones and the Six. You sold me on the Emmys and Lovers. So definitely now I'm obligated.
you should look into it. Yeah. Last of Us wrapped up. We did a whole thing about it though, but
Yeah, we did a whole thing about
Great
Last of
series.
Us, but fantastic. Great stuff.
Poker Face also wrapped up, and that's probably my favorite series of the year so far.
Did that wrap up in March?
I think it did, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah,
Early
But
March.
those final two episodes are just fucking perfect, and it's probably one of my favorite things Ryan Johnson has done. That whole series is such a vibe, and like it's not a who done it, but a who catch him or how to catch him. It's just the whole structure of that series is special, and I love it so much.
I agree. I think different directors getting their footprint. It is a Ryan Johnson like originated series, but I like how the different writers, different directors.
The director of Zilla did episode 9, and it was phenomenal.
The one with the Stephanie Shu. That was probably my favorite episode. Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm. It was one of the best final shots I've seen in a long time.
That final shot is so fucking good.
So fucking
iconic.
good.
Iconic already.
Dolly Zoom. Oh my god.
Which one in episode 9?
She's like laying on her
10.
car.
The last shot of the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So good.
That's a really good one.
And then speaking of shows, I finally went back and finished season 4 of Mrs. Maisel.
Really, I rewatched
honestly,
the whole series.
Not as bad as I thought it was. At least those 2 episodes. Yeah.
When I watched it originally, like it was still thrown off because of the whole weekly release thing that was new for that show.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of a mess, but going back and rewatching it, I think it works a lot better. It's obviously a setup for season 5.
Yeah.
Which is
how many episodes is season 5?
I think it's 9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Mm-hmm. Season 5 coming out or is it already over?
April?
No, it's coming out this month. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So many shows are ending, and then that's 2 months.
Succession.
It's wild.
Already
How do you have
last
time
week.
to rewatch shows, Josh? I don't even have time to keep up with the shows I need to watch. I'm watching like 12 shows right now. I don't have time. But yeah.
Succession.
Great
first episode.
First episode we watched. Fantastic.
Incredible.
Poetry.
Episode 2 tonight.
Congratulations on saying the biggest fucking number, you fucking morons. So good.
So good.
They were so proud of themselves too.
The Disgusting Brothers.
Yeah.
On motherfucking tour. So good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
She's crunchy peanut butter. That one. I love that scene so much.
Oh boy. Yeah. It's Tom, right? Tom
and Dredge, yeah.
Tom's gonna have a fantastic arc. He's already my favorite character. I'm just so excited.
Matthew McFadden in this shows is like something else. The range he has is just incredible. He's so fucking good.
I was hooked on him in season 1, and then season 2, that beach scene about like I don't know if we really love each other. That beach scene is fantastic. And then season 3, amazing. Season 4,
you want to make a deal with the devil?
Yeah, dude, it's wild.
Souls are born.
And then this devastating scene at the end of episode 1. I'm like,
Sarah
oh
Snook.
my
Oh,
god,
they're so good.
God.
it is.
Everyone in
crazy.
this show is so good.
This show is unreal. This show is unreal.
Jeremy Strong, like throughout his whole arc throughout the series is also something special. It's incredible.
Yeah, I still
I'm
remember
gonna miss his characters.
that dinner scene in season 3 between him and Brian, where they're just talking, just raw talking about like what happened to them in the past and like the whole him killing that guy in episode 1 or season 1. It was wow. It was I'm gonna miss the show. Yeah, this is one of the best shows of all time. It's great. I remember because we were like Last of Us is gonna win all these awards. Then we're like, oh, Succession's coming out, and Succession's just gonna steamroll everything. It's unfortunate.
Then we also have Ted Lasso's final season premiering. I rewatched season 2.
How are you rewatching all these shows?
It's all I watch are these shows. I don't watch anything else. Whereas you watch fucking 10 animes at once.
Yeah, I watched like 3 last night. It was great. But yeah,
and reality.
Ted Lasso. Oh my god! I'm on. I didn't watch the latest episode, but I watched episode 2.
It's just like this show's just. It can't be. It's. What else to say? It's just so good.
It's perfect. Yeah, I just watched season 3, episode 2 with no spoilers, but it's just with
the ending.
What?
Is incredible.
I think
you cut out there for a second.
Yeah, the ending of episode 2 is really good when
big time.
Roy and Trent Grimm.
That was the best part of the episode. That was the best part. I was like, these two characters, just Roy in general. Roy's arc, Keely's arc this season is going to be very interesting to follow.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a very raw. It's a very emotional arc that I'm just not.
I'm so glad they brought Trent Grimm into Richmond too to make him more of a character because he's always been so fascinating.
Big time. And then Nathan's arc, like episode 1 with Nate the Great, was very interesting. So Ted Lasso is going really strong. If people aren't watching it, I really recommend catching up on Ted Lasso.
It's wild that I think all this or these 3 shows plus Barry are all ending in the same week. Like the last week of May, they're all ending.
Really?
Yeah, Mrs. Maisel has the last episode that week. Then Barry and Succession are ending on the same night.
Wait, how many episodes is Barry?
I think they're premiering 2 out on the same day, which is how that winds up.
2 on the same day, and then it's going to have, what, 6 episodes?
10. 7, 8, how much? I don't know.
That shouldn't be happening, but we'll see.
I saw a tweet, and it made sense.
Because I'm like, Barry is airing like halfway through Succession season 4.
Let me see.
We'll see.
It's 8 episodes. So if they drop 2, that's 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
That made sense. Then premieres next week, right?
I thought it was in 2 weeks. Is it next week?
On the 16th, yeah.
16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Either way, Barry is one of my favorite.
It says May 28th for episode 8 on Barry, then May 28th for Succession. Last episode.
Okay. Oh, you're right. Because Succession is going to be 10 episodes, I would assume. Barry's only going to be 8, and they're already airing 2 at the same time.
Yeah, so that's
how are they airing 2? So I'm going to be watching Succession and 2 episodes of Barry back to. Jesus
I guess so.
Ay caramba.
Then Ted Lasso, I think, is that Wednesday or that Thursday or whatever. Then Mrs. Maisel is that Friday.
Man,
wild.
Yeah, this year's
all like 4 of my favorite shows of all time are ending. In May.
It's crazy. I love Barry to death. I can't wait to talk about that with you guys on this podcast. Barry, Succession. What else?
Back to Mrs. Maisel. Like that's probably been my favorite show for airing, like ever. It's just there's something so special about it, and it's wild that we have a show that's like a family comedy about a stand-up, like a housewife becoming a stand-up comedian. That's one of the best shot and best like technical masterpieces in television I've ever seen. Like the cinematography, the production design, the costumes are so like on another level.
Yeah.
I'll take your word
It's
for
really
it.
special. You need to watch it, Evan. You really should. I think you would love it.
I have so many shows. I'll get around to it though. Maybe this summer. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Want to go back to movies or what?
I think. Oh, Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's pretty solid
it's
this
good.
season.
All right, it's good. Last episode was good.
I'm on the other side because I think this season so far has been much more consistent than season 2 for me. I'm not the biggest fan of Mando season 2 much at all, especially the latter half of Mando season 2. I remember when Mando season 2 was airing, I liked the first half of it, but then the Ahsoka stuff was like, meh.
I liked season 2 a lot. I think it's really coherent.
The ending of season 2 was pretty messy. The Ahsoka episode was messy. The Boba Fett episode was messy. Like I didn't care about the last half of season 2. Even though like they had a goal to get to Luke Skywalker, I didn't care really.
Here's the thing. I think season 2 was a much tighter season for me, and I think it had a much more stronger through line. Whereas this season it's playing with more interesting ideas, but it's really messy in how it's pulling it off. Because like I still don't we're getting to things are starting to come together, but it's already episode 5. And I think those first 4 episodes, like they threw so much at the wall, they didn't know what to do. And some of it worked, some of it doesn't. But I think we're starting this back half of the season starting to come together. Whereas season 2, I think it's all good and all comes like all much straighter through line for me.
I wouldn't say throwing stuff at the wall. I think season 3 started off very strong. I think episode 2, season 3 is really good.
It's different structure, so maybe that's just the thing. Is it's very different than season 1 and 2.
Probably, but I remember watching the first 2 episodes. I'm like, okay, I like that Din or like Jon Favreau / Filoni, they're emphasizing spoilers for Mandalorian season 3. I like that they're emphasizing that Din's redemption part is getting solved in the first 2 episodes. I'm like, thank God, because I didn't want to have him trying to redeem himself for the whole season. I'm like, that can't be it, right? But with Din basically feeling redeemed in the first 2 episodes, season 2, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Where are we going to go now? And then adding your co-protagonist in Bo-Katan here halfway through episode 2 was a very interesting hook.
I do love that they upped Katie Sackhoff to like co-lead because that's the great fucking decision.
I like her dynamic. I remember early on in the preseason, my prediction was like she's going to be the devil on Din's shoulder, and she hasn't been necessarily. She's been actually really good and healthy for Din in terms of perspective.
I also don't understand how she's so like captured by this cult, like how she is immediately goes with it. I don't understand that. But this last episode, we're starting to like, hey, maybe it's not so much of a restrictive cult. Like you can walk both sides, which like I don't know why Din did that chance.
I think the armor is cooking something. We'll have to wait and see for that. But I think I understood where Bo was coming from because she was basically left behind, or she yells at Din in episode 1 saying, "My people left me just because they didn't have the Darksaber. You now have it. You go do your own redemption thing. I don't want to really join you." So she feels she failed fighting Moff Gideon in season 2. She failed by losing her people. It kind of reminded me of Joel, who's like failing as a protector in season 1 of Last of Us. She's failing. She's losing all these connections. So the minute that her home is then also destroyed, she has nowhere to go. She has no friends. And then this Cole, the Watch, comes in at just the right time in her life where she's uncomfortable with it, but she's willing to hang out with them because where else can she go? And then the armor, which has always been like this protective mother goddess-like figure to Din, is now putting her hooks into Bo. Not hooks is in a bad way, but like she's seeping into Bo's like subconscious, very much so at the end of episode 3 as well, where she's like, "Hey, take off the helmet," or episode 5, or to take off the helmet, do all these things. So I'm like, okay, the armor here is like, it's very interesting. And then she says like, we want to unite Mandalore, but we also like want to unite it under the Watch. I think that's what she was saying.
It's weird, yeah.
So I'm like,
we have to wait and see how these last 3 episodes are play out, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think for me, season 2 dropped for me because of the last 3 episodes, but season 3 for me could, solidify itself as a good season if the last 3 episodes come into place. I've been saying this since season 1, Moff Gideon is an awful character.
I disagree. I like Moff
Plain
Gideon
and simple,
He's very one note, but I like it. It's
One
Giancarlo.
Awful. When the boys is outdoing you on a Giancarlo character,
I don't care because he's good, and the main theme, is really fucking good for him.
Oh, he's good. He's a solid theme. But I can't stand his character.
And I just want to say, seeing Zeb done perfectly was like such a highlight.
Zeb was really cool. Seeing that.
And I got a couple of nights ago. I got to see this in a theater, like the Pat Theater with the panel thing. Yeah. And when Zeb came on screen, like it just went so loud. It made me so happy.
Rebels fans, you can always count on them. Yeah. I miss Rebels. But yeah, so I'm curious to see where Bo goes in the following episodes here as he tries to recruit more Mandos under the watch. And then Moff Gideon, as I was saying though, it seems like we fast forwarded past his escape, which I don't really like. I'm like, why do we? Like he got.
I could see us doing a flashback in this next episode.
Hopefully we get like I don't know, Crimes of Grindelwald escape sequence or something, or he just escapes jail or something.
Speaking of Star Wars, you've been watching Bad Batch. I haven't watched. I'm not caught up. But
you're not caught up, but Bad Batch season 2, fantastic, fan-fucking-tastic, if I do say so myself. That finale broke me. It was heartbreaking. It was amazing. It was emotional. I thought Bad Batch season 2 was going to be the final season. I was like, oh, they're going to do A, B, and C in the final 3 episodes. Is going to conclude the theme of the season, which is all about like what's next for the clones. They're going to conclude what's next for the family, the Bad Batch themselves, like Omega trying to get her through adulthood, adolescence, but also just the growth of the Bad Batch of being more than just soldiers. It can be more of a family. That growth was like so compelling all throughout season 2. And then season 3, or the ending of season 2, just turned everything on its head in a completely surprising but very, very interesting way. We have a brand new antagonist called Dr. Hemlock, who is just skyrocketing in terms of my favorite Star Wars characters. So Bad Batch overall, fantastic. I
definitely want to catch up sometime soon.
I think you would really enjoy the final couple episodes here, Josh.
Yeah.
Because I think they're really special.
But speaking of Star Wars Celebration is happening this coming week, and
we're all going,
friends
right?
of the show, friends of the show,
I'm getting my money back, though.
Me too. Getting that nice $150 soon if we did.
I'm getting like 500. 2 tickets.
500.
Oh yeah. But yeah, friends of the show, Nikki and Alden, are going. So we'll have a special wrap-up episode of their experience and all the news coming out, talking all about that stuff probably the week after. So look forward to that.
Definitely. Star Wars movies are being announced. Maybe some TV shows. I was talking about on Star Wars podcast that I do, Hyperspace Hype. I was like, there's no new Star Wars animated show. Granted, now that we have confirmed Bad Batch season 3 coming out soon.
Vision season 2 also.
Vision season 2 is coming, but I'm curious if there's another animated show.
I think they'll wait till after Bad Batch. I'm sure they're cooking one, but I think they'll wait.
We'll have to wait and see. But movies are definitely going to be announced. Movies are definitely going to be announced here. And the High Republic panel is one that I'm most excited to watch and listen to come Celebration. But yeah, we can go back to movies now.
All right. Let me touch on 2 things, or one thing real quick. I watched Easy A for the first time.
Whoa!
Passage. Yeah. Great movie. Doesn't age the best, but it's still really fun.
Yeah, there's some things in there. Yeah. I love Easy. This is my first. Was it my first Emma Stone movie? I think so. It was between this or Zombieland that I saw with Emma Stone first, and I love this movie. Easy A is great. Have you seen Crazy Stupid Love yet?
I haven't. No.
I think that should be your next one. Crazy Stupid Love. That's next in the early Emma trilogy.
What's the third one?
I always say like Zombieland, like right, like Easy A,
yeah.
Crazy Stupid Love, Zombieland. What else is early Emma? Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, The Help. I think she was on that too.
I've seen The Help. Yeah, she's really good in that.
No Gangster Squad.
Movie 43.
I forgot about that. I remember being so excited to see Gangster Squad. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good. And then falling asleep
Aloha.
at dinner. Oof, never seen Aloha. No,
Birdman, obviously,
Birdman's
was
great.
probably the breakout.
That was probably the big breakout. Yeah,
Oh, super
Well,
bad. That's
Crazy
good,
Stupid
yeah.
loves to break out. Yeah. Yes. So good on
Good
seeing these
movie,
guys.
fun
Yeah,
movie. Yeah.
it's fun. Loved it.
Then I want to talk about, because I have microdosing. I want to make sure I talked about this movie. I watched it last night. Just came out on Hulu.
Oh, are we going there?
Lane.
Are we going
Let's go there, Evan.
Let's
It is
go!
my favorite movie of the year so far. It is fucking
Easily.
incredible.
5 out of 5. Best movie.
It is so good.
Woo! Everybody listening, go watch Rylane. It is a rom-com classic.
Premiered at Sundance. It's been in the hype, and it just debuted on Hulu. It is one of the best rom-coms I've seen. One of the most freshest, most imaginative rom-coms I've seen.
The
direction is insane. For a fucking debut is crazy from Rain Allen Miller.
Oh, congrats! Because you're right. The direction is so inventive. It's creative, and it's so expressive too. The character dynamics, the character relationships, beautiful, perfect.
David Johnson and Vivian Opera, the main leads, just ooze the chemistry. Like their dynamic is so special.
They're the definition of chemistry. They are,
and it's like all wrapped up in 80 minutes, which is this perfect. It didn't need to be longer. Like it's just such a good runtime.
No shorter, no longer. You're right. Perfect runtime.
And like there's flares of like Linklater in there, of Richard Curtis, of like even I thought of Boots Riley too. It started to bother you.
Ooh,
there's
interesting.
Some flares of that in there.
I can feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked how it explored like London culture and London just way of life as well. I'm not from London, but the movie is just oozing.
It's a character,
personal feel to it, just like the streets, the alleyways, the buildings, the architecture. It was just very interesting. It reminded me of Columbus in that sense.
It's technically fantastic too. Like the cinematography is just stunning. The editing is like so dynamic. The score is beautiful.
Beautiful score. And then
Edgar, you need to watch this ASAP.
Yeah, you would love.
I'm gonna try to watch it this week.
Mm-hmm. And like it's so good that I maybe started watching it again right after.
Oh wow, nice.
And
I watched it like at 4 a.m., so I went back to bed. So.
Yeah, it just had the biggest smile on my face the whole thing. It's the best, and it's the best movie of the year so far.
I agree. It's my number one of the movie. One movie of the year. I couldn't find any fault with it. I was tearing up at the end. I was laughing so hard throughout countless scenes. Josh, that first that double date, I'll just say that.
It's so good.
Hilarious.
The way it does flashbacks too is so creative.
Oh my god, so good.
Like, when the movie theater one and the flashback to, how do I not spoil this? The record.
Yes.
And he's clapping, like the whole audience of him clapping, like it's so good.
It was so, again, it's super inventive and creative. I just had so much fun watching this movie. It's just, man, it's hard not to love this movie. Yeah, it's amazing.
And they brought back the post credits blooper.
Yeah, right. That. I love that. I love seeing that. I was like, oh wow, it just felt. It had everything I love about movies, right? Like a great rom-com feel to it. It felt so classic, but also timeless. I can definitely see myself watching this over and over again.
Totally.
So it's like the London version of Set It Up, basically.
Honestly, it's one of the best rom-coms.
I just saw Set It Up again last night, by the way.
It did inspire you to watch that.
Yeah, my brother has never seen it, so I'm like, we're definitely watching.
Set Up is a classic.
It's a classic.
It's so good. I think my three favorites now are Set Up, About Time, and this. Right,
that's a trilogy. That's one hell of a trilogy. That's a 100%.
Oh, and the Before trilogy, obviously.
I still need to watch that one.
Evan, you need to watch that immediately. That's right up your alley.
I hear it's like.
And Rylane is like very much inspired by the Before trilogy too.
Awesome. But yeah, I'm so glad you saw that, Josh, because I saw that. I'm like, my mind was just go in a
Yeah.
million places because I love that movie. So yeah, Ryan Lane's fantastic. We didn't really dive into John Wick though.
I want to save that for the end
Okay, cool.
because I have to go soon, and I don't have much to say about that because it's a great movie. But I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons real quick before I go.
Oh sure, let's do this. That's my first movie in April, technically.
Edgar, did you watch this?
Yeah, I went to the early screening like on the 19th.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Edgar's like the huge Dungeons and Dragons fan. He had his cards and
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
See, I actually am a big fan of D&D and like watching it and stuff. And this movie it's a fun time. It's a solid romp, and the cast is wonderful. The direction is like surprisingly really fucking good, but
Really
it
good.
shouldn't be surprising because it's from the Game Night team, which is a great movie.
I know this came out this weekend. Should we get into spoilers for it though?
Is there much to spoil?
Is there? Yeah, I was gonna say there's not a lot to spoil.
You're right. There's just some fun action sequences that I really like.
Oh, the cameo though.
The cameo.
I was like, wait,
What?
hello?
It's
What?
kind
When
of
I-
funny how they managed to get Bradley Cooper for the small cameo, but Disney
Yeah.
couldn't did it for their big Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
That's fucked up.
Remember Edgar and the
Yeah.
they couldn't did him for Rocket for some reason.
Yeah, it's funny because like I obviously like I watched this like a couple weeks ago, and like there was already kind of buzz from like South by Southwest for this movie,
Yeah.
but like I hadn't heard anybody talk or mention a cameo of any sort. So when he came up, I was like, "Is that it? Can't be him. Is he him?" And then you actually get like a close
And
up.
playing a gnome is so good. Like, it's
Yeah,
such a
like
cameo.
the effect is kind of like goofy, but I think it's on purpose. Like
Yeah.
like-
Definitely. Yeah.
like it's just it's a great moment.
Yeah, and his voice is kind of different too. Like kind of like
Mhm.
lower octave. It was very funny, or higher octave.
But yeah, this like as someone who knows a lot about D&D, this just does it so well. Does it to justice, and the
Awesome.
world building's great. All the nods to stuff and the worlds and spells and stuff is good. The main cast is good, like I said, and it's just a really fun time at the movies.
Yeah, the main cast makes this movie. Like they're so
Yeah.
special. They're so like their energy just rubs off the screen. I love Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith,
Sophia Willis,
Sophia
Hugh
Willis.
Grant's 2 for 2 for being a great silly villain like this in Titan 2.
Yeah, Hugh Grant is just amazing. But what was the other one you mentioned for Hugh Grant?
Titan 2, he's like a really
Titan
good
2.
villain in that.
He also played the villain recently this year in Guy Ritchie's Operation Fortune.
Oh, he's
where
a
he was-
villain in that?
He's a villain in that, and it's just he's very goofy, and he's so goofy here too. So he's just killing it in month of March.
It's like there's some good filmmaking stuff in there. Like there's a split diopter shot. There's a very
Practical
good.
effects are really good.
Yeah, the animatronics. That digital one shot of Sophia Willis's character like running and transforming is just
Okay.
incredible. It's so good.
Jalen and I were like hitting each other because we're watching the sequence, like it's still going, like, and she's transforming, and it's like going through the armor, through the castle, in the sky, on the.
It's
I'm like,
so
wait,
good.
have we cut yet? And I was. This was probably the best sequence of the entire.
Obviously, there's cuts because like
movie.
most of it, a lot of
Yeah.
it's digital, but like the way it's stitched together and the way it's so seamless is really
so
well done.
cool. It was very creative. I really liked her character, and then
And the clip on Twitter the director put out of when she's like up for the portal into the wagon, like they had to like cut out a piece of the wall and bring it in once the camera got into that room. It was really cool.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was incredible. But yeah, I think the effects were really good. It's a simple plot, but I think it's very heartwarming. It's very like I love like this whole family dynamic that they had with all of them. Every actor brought it. It's one of those timeless movies I can definitely see like watching again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan, but I'm a huge fantasy fan. So I like seeing a lot of these fantasy concepts, the portals, the fire, the wizards. Very funny. Oh, and then
Ray J. Jean Page is great in it.
awesome. He was great. Loved his character.
And like there's a lot of the CG and visual hits and stuff like that, but like to see a blockbuster
Stellar.
movie with this much of a budget about D&D with this much practical shit in it is like really cool to see.
Really special. one of the funniest scenes of the entire year for me was the graveyard sequence, the questioning the dead people. I was
Yeah.
So
it
good.
was
So good.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It was really good. So yeah, this movie is just it's
I hope they made
hilarious,
more of them
funny.
because
Um,
this world is just so big and they do so much with it.
That's the power of Chris Pine, right? When I first saw Star Trek, I was like, I need 20,000 more Star Trek movies with this guy.
Mhm.
And then with this movie, I'm just like, I need 20,000 more D&D movies with Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, everybody. So yeah, I would
Give me a
definitely-
trilogy of the pirates.
please, yeah, let's do that. And then the action sequences are really fun too. I love that final
Yeah.
scene between them and the Red Wizard and in the courtyard was really cool.
It's just like really well shot too, which is like surprising for like a
That was the
big
that was
fancy
the most
blockbuster.
That was the most
Yeah.
surprising thing, which shouldn't be surprising because there's some fantastic shots in Game Night.
Yeah.
Like the whole, when they're throwing the orb thing in Game Night,
Yeah.
and they're all like, "Hey,
The
catch!"
one shot.
That's
Mhm.
really cool. And then they brought that like sensibility here to Dungeons and Dragons in special ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fantastic. It's one of my top 5 movies of the year. I had a blast watching it. Loved it.
Okay, one more that I forgot about before we leave.
Sure.
I finally watched Missing. With,
Yes! What'd you
Storm
think?
Reed. Loved it. I think
Loved it.
it's a smidge better than Searching for me too.
Wow, high praise.
I think
high praise,
Searching is
Bob.
a tighter film, but Missing is more ambitious, and I think what they do with that format is a lot more better executed here. I think
I agree. The tech is more ambitious. The characters.
it's because we have a protagonist who knows the tech more, which I think is I don't know. It's a different movie, but I think the mysteries is a lot bigger, and it worked better for me.
And again, I'm a huge mystery thriller, psychological thriller fan. So I'm always trying to guess and see what's going on here.
There's some big twists and turns.
There's
in
some
this.
big twists that I did not see coming. Like it knew, like, hey, if you watch Searching, you're going to be looking out for this. And they really upended you and surprised you. But then also, like, there's so many good Easter eggs and clues. So it adds to that rewatchability as well. So
And Storm Reed is fantastic as always.
I liked her best friend.
But the editing is insane in this movie. Like the party sequence of just so many cuts and the way it transforms into the title sequence.
I agree. Yeah.
It's just mind blowing how good that editing is in this.
Yeah, and it all wouldn't matter if you didn't care about Storm Reed and the relationship between her mother. And I think that was really special throughout this movie. So just like in Searching,
the way there's twists on that and the way that holds is so so much impact to that too. And like
it's so impactful
powerful.
Because like I love in Searching the dynamic between John Cho and his daughter, and to switch that to make it the daughter the protagonist here and the relationship between the daughter and her parents was very special. I loved that whole family focus centered to it, all while being very fun, funny. Like her best friend from what was it, Cuba, Puerto Rico, wherever it was.
Oh yeah,
he was hilarious. It was great. And yeah, again, the editing, the writing, very sharp, very surprising. It's hard to predict. Some great twists, some great like surprise.
It's not as grounded as Searching, but yeah, it's like the ambition here more.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's definitely great. And it came out in January. January again. That was a great month. January 2023. So yeah, I really liked it.
All right, so I'm there, Joe. But John Wick Chapter 4, action masterpiece, one of the best action movies I've seen
of all time, for sure.
Yeah,
Cinema.
Yeah, so good. The stairs, the fucking top-down shot, incredible.
Drone shot.
Drone somehow. Wow, that was incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
Peace out. Find him at Josh D. Woodbury. Yeah, Edgar, John Wick. Like I'm a huge action guy. Like for me, the Raid movies, Gareth Evans, the Raid movies, Mission Impossible, Mad Max. This is John Wick 4. Like John Wick was already like up there in terms of like cultural zeitgeist ever since the first one came out. But I think finally with this one, and they've been upping the ante every time, but this one, it brings me back to what I loved about the first one, which was like that emotional sensibility to it. While I do love John Wick 2 and 3, and they expand the world and they expand the action, they didn't have that like heart that I loved about the first one. This one brings the heart back in spades, while not focusing just on John. They're going to focus on Kane, Donnie Yen's character, They're going to focus on other characters like Winston and Sharon. Like, there's a lot of emotion built into this as a climactic John Wick movie. Wow, having fantastic, never before seen action sequences that just blew me away. Like, this is easily one of the best action films I've ever seen. Um, it's inventive, creative, um, just insane action stunts that just had me blown away. Um, and the beauty of it wasn't just that, like, hey, everything's just an action sequence. There's some great drama, there's some great character work that's just oozing in every scene, and then it builds to a fun action sequence, whether it's in this club or the final action sequence with the arc and then the top down that Josh mentioned. Um, it just all across the board. I love this movie, and most of all, Donnie Yen's Kane, probably my favorite character of the year so far. Favorite movie character. It's gonna be hard to beat him. He is unbelievable in this movie. I love him.
Yeah. I kind of like jokingly posted on Letterboxd, which honestly it really isn't a joke, but like chapter 4 really is like rated R, No Time to Die. And the reason why I compared that is because like it's not just because like, again, spoilers, it's because like the fact that John Wick dies at the end of this movie, just like James Bond dies in No Time to Die, but like you really do get that sense of mortality throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's a really excellent line towards the third act, towards the duel of the movie, the last duel. They're talking. It's like a back and forth between John and Kane about like those who cling to death live and those who cling to life die. Like that's there's an entire like dynamic of like just like knowing when your time is up and trying to still fight and keep going. Like the fact that John is just like, it isn't even, he doesn't necessarily wants to live, he just wants to be left alone.
He
And
wants
that
freedom,
entire,
yeah.
yeah, and that sequence between him and Winston when they're talking um about like, oh, what would you want to have like be written on your grave or whatever,
Ooh,
and him saying like, oh, I would just loving husband because that's the only good thing that I ever did in my life. Like
yeah.
again, like you were mentioning, like I like chapter 2, I like chapter 3, fine, they're great movies with great set pieces, but this movie really did bring back the heart from the original movie, which is why I still really like that movie as much as I do today. I also rewatched the whole series after watching
Same.
chapter 4 before rewatching it again, and yeah, this entire series is just great, and I really hope they don't try to go and make chapter 5. Like if you want to continue this universe, like you've already made excellent job at world building and also introducing characters that can carry this franchise moving forward with like a Kane or what's
Akira.
Akira. Yeah, there you go. Well, all of those characters, like you already have good supporting characters that can carry this forward. Just go with them. Don't bring John back.
I totally agree, and that was the beauty of this franchise. Like John Wick 2 had Common and Ruby Rose, but they kind of died in those movies. But then John Wick 3, you had like Halle Berry, and you thought you'd get one with her, but now
Yeah.
they're doing this weird Ana de Armas movie instead
It's
of
so weird because like
Yeah.
they're making a movie about a character that nobody, obviously nobody gives a shit because nobody knows like what
Nobody
even
knows
is
who they
about.
are, yeah. But it's Ana de Armas, right? She's hot. She's like one of the most well-known actresses now.
Yeah.
But for me, like I'm with you, like Kane, Akira, like that post-credit sequence, dog. I was like, yo, because I thought she was gonna come in at the end of the movie or something, but I like that they brought her back at the post-credit as like, is she gonna kill Donnie Yen's Kane? We don't know. I like that Chad Stahelski, the director, admitted that they filmed a post-credit scene where she does successfully kill Donnie Yen. But then just now leaving that ambiguous, I'm like, you could make a movie with Akira and Kane. It's like enemies to rivals to like allies to reluctant allies or whatever.
To
That could be
potentially
fun.
almost being like a father-daughter dynamic, because since both of them, like even though his daughter is still alive, like he can't really interact with her, like because he knows the danger that it would cause.
Exactly. So and they both have vengeance against the High Table because he didn't want to kill her father, right? But that was part of his job, and his father was being defensive over his daughter and defensive over Wick. Shout out to Hiroyuki Sanada, who again just killed it in John Wick 4. He was fantastic in the Osaka sequence.
Hmm.
But yeah, I loved. I just loved this entire movie. The action sequences were incredible. Scott Adkins in this
So good.
Berlin, the Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. But yeah, like like everybody praises the Paris third act for good reason, but like the Berlin stuff in the nightclub with the waterfall, it's excellent.
Wild,
Like,
excellent. Waterfalls for walls, the falls, the club members who don't give a fuck. It's hilarious. With all his dancing. Yeah, the action's great. Like he shoots Scott Adkins in the ass. They have a funny sequence. He almost kills him with the card. It's crazy. It's awesome. Yeah, this movie just goes above and beyond. Everything I love about the past John Wick movies, plus the heart of the first movie, is all in this one. And yeah, John gets a great send off. I didn't think he was dead, but the movie just ended him dead. So I'm like, oh, actually, now I'm fine with it. Like, I don't want him to come
yeah,
back. Like you said, like there's so much room of growth for like Mr. Nobody, Kane, Akira.
Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody's
Such
great.
a cool character.
Such a cool character. Just him and his dog, kind of paralleling or symbolizing early John Wick with him and his dog. And just caring about the money. That was hilarious. Shout out to Billy, not Billy. Is it Bill Skarsgård?
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. Weird French accent. I couldn't understand like half the things he was saying.
It was a choice, but
it was a choice, but it was fun. It was fine. Exactly. And then rest in peace, of course, this month or last month, we sadly lost Lance Reddick, who played Chiron. He is going to be playing Zeus in Percy Jackson. Fantastic actor, fantastic person. And he was great in this movie. I was shocked they killed him off. That was heartbreaking. Just adding to like the real life death, but also the death of a beloved character in this franchise. Again, that really added a lot of heart to Winston's character, who for the first three movies, just like this omniscient character who was always in the right and always just trying to maneuver his way to the top.
Yeah.
And he's still doing that in this movie, but now he has a bone to pick with the table.
And it also like parallels his journey with John, so the sense like the person that they cared about the most, even though they're not gonna say it, like Winston's not gonna say like, "Oh, I loved my friend." Like you know that he did. Like it was his best friend. And like the fact that both of them lost in a way the person that kind of gave them like comfort in a sense, that they could rely on, that they could trust, and now like those two characters might feel like they're the ones who should have gone instead of them, and they're the ones left in this world dealing with the consequences.
Exactly.
Is again just adding up to the heart of this movie. So great.
I agree. Yeah, John Wick 4 is fantastic. It's my number 2 movie of the year now, just behind Rylane. But
Gotta watch that now.
It's fantastic. So yeah, John Wick 4, Shazam. I saw Guy Ritchie's Operation Fortune. It was fine. It was pretty fine. But I had a fun time with it. How did I give this 4 stars? I'm looking at my thing. I'm like, this is not a 4-star movie. Oh no, I gave it 3 stars. My letterbox is messing up now. Does it do that sometimes? Where I give a movie, I change the stars on the movie, but then whatever. Anyways, Operation Fortune with Guy Ritchie, very funny. It's solid. It's nothing really special. It's just it's a lesser version of like the classic Guy Ritchie and Statham movies. Like even less so than that one they did with the bank heist recently. Like this one's just like it's funny. It's Wrath, yeah. Wrath of Man. This one was more comedic, less stakes. Didn't have enough heart with it, but it was just a fine action flick. We also saw what else? Oh, The Boston Strangler. Did you catch that this year?
No.
This one stars Keira Knightley and Carrie Coon, 2 actresses I adore.
Is it a show or movie?
Movie. It's about this Boston serial killer who's attacking women in the streets and in their apartments, and just from a news perspective, right? It's kind of like Spotlight, but they're focusing on a serial killer. I thought the premise was interesting. The two actresses are really bringing it, great performances. But for me, I found it kind of dull. The pacing was a bit too slow for me. I wasn't really intrigued or like compelled in every scene. It was just meandering at times. Some of the supporting characters weren't really that fleshed out, in my opinion. Um, I think it's anchored by the two main leads in Keira Knightley and Carrie Coon, but overall the premise wasn't as like captivating and as intense as I thought it was going to be. Like I wasn't expecting like the near perfection that we got with Spotlight, where it was just so intoxicating and so interesting. I was expecting like a low, I don't know, just a 1970s thriller from a news perspective where they're just tracking down this killer and the importance that it has from a woman's perspective. It just didn't really captivate me as much as I really wanted it to. It's kind of
Yeah.
dull. So it's a hit and a miss. But overall, that's pretty much all I saw. Dungeons, Ryland, Boston Strangler, John Wick. This was a pretty stacked month, unforgettable month, bringing us back to like March 2017.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fun time. Fun
Yeah.
time.
I just have two things more to talk about. One of
Sure.
them I kind of already talked about last month, but I'll bring it back again.
Hmm.
Tetris with Trent Edgerton, Apple TV.
I
Really
need to
good
watch
movie.
that. Yeah, I need to watch that.
Really, really good movie. Has some pretty good style. Really good soundtrack.
Terrence,
Trent,
yeah,
he's great. That man. I don't know how he has so much charisma in him. I don't know. Maybe because I'm miserable half of the time, but but like that, that man is just like incredible in this movie, and I feel like some of the sorry, I feel like some of the villains are like kind of like very cartoonish at times, but then they tend to try not to like take them a little bit too seriously at other times. So it's I don't know.
mm,
It's all over the place in that department, but otherwise, it's a really good movie. It's a really solid watch. I would recommend watching it. And also, finally for me, finally catch up with Abbott Elementary. Those two seasons,
yes.
great, great stuff. Great stuff. Very charismatic. I don't know if I would. Hmm, I don't know. I guess I would have to wait and see until like this show finishes its run. But like honestly, like so far, like I think this might be my like my favorite kind of like mockumentary style sitcom. Like out of like The Office and Parks and Rec and all that stuff.
It's
Like I don't
getting
know.
there, dude. Like I'm with you. Like I grew up on shows like Modern Family, Parks and Rec. I didn't really get into The Office as much,
Yeah,
um, but I love Parks and Rec, and this show is getting up there because every single character is bringing it in this show. They're hilarious in their own quirky individual ways, and it's romantic as hell. Like I love the relationship between. Uh, Crap. Between
Janine
Eddie,
and
Janine, is it Eddie, right?
I don't I don't know. I don't remember.
Everybody hates Chris, Tyler James, Tyler's character. Um, and their relationship is hilarious in season two. It's like they spoilers for Abbott Elementary season two, but like they kissed or they had that awkward dancing
The
scene during the
dance.
mid-season finale. That was crazy. They kissed at the conference. That was wild. So yeah, and then like we've been on break, but I've just been really interested to see where this goes. And like I love exploring more of Quinta Brunson's like family in this Janine's family in season two so far. We met her sister,
Yeah,
played by what's her name, Io,
from
from the
from the
bear.
bear. Yeah.
And it was just revealed that her mom is going to be played by Taraji P Henson. So that's going to be very interesting in the latter half of season two. So
Yep.
it's finally coming back next week. So I'm excited for season two to continue on because I've been loving season two. It's been better than season one, and it's a great time.
Yeah, I think for me it's just that Parks and Rec and The Office, I feel like sometimes they go a little bit too over the top with their comedy,
Mm.
which is fine. But like here with the characters, like their struggles feel very like relatable and they feel very human. Like Janine, like her relationship with like her like breaking up with her like past relationship and dealing with that in season two, like it's very touching. um the stuff with like it's like a one-off episode, but like with Barbara when she like sets up the alarm when she starts a fire in the school and her trying to deal
Yeah,
with that, like
that was a great
everything is
episode.
everything just feels like everything just comes together really well, and I just adore these characters, and I can just watch the show forever.
Me too. It's infectious, contagious. I just love watching every single episode. Yeah, because there's always a heartwarming lesson. There's always a heartwarming character moment in each and every episode. Like they put so much heart into this whole series, and it's just insanely relatable. Like I'm a teacher, of course, but even outside of being a teacher, it's just like such a relatable series for everybody to watch. So yeah, if you're not watching Abbott, please watch Abbott. It's great. Um, yeah, that's about it though.
Carl, that's it. You can find this podcast at WFHG Podcast on Twitter. And Evan, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9. I'm excited for this week. People are just watching this, like, hey, what's happening this week? But we're having Across the Spider-Verse second trailer, Barbie trailer, Blue Beetle trailers I'm excited about. So Secret Invasions tonight. So a lot of trailers in terms of like comic book movies, but also just like big movies and TV shows coming out this year. Can't wait to talk about that. Follow me again, Harris EV9, because I'll be going over all those trailers for this week on Friday when we do My Cup of Tea with Nathan Rojas. But overall, this month has also been great for anime. If you are big anime fans, Attack on Titan was great this month, and a lot of this winter anime concluded very nicely. And then spring anime just started last night. If people aren't watching this anime called Heavenly Delusion, it's on Hulu. Phenomenal cinematic first episode. So spring anime is going to be off to a great start. But yeah, that's about it for me. High Republic books come out Tuesday. The last wave of Phase 2. That's exciting as a Star Wars fan. That's about it. Yeah, just can't wait for April.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, all the good stuff at EDG or TEG. Working on a piece about the Evil Dead remake that came out in 2013, leading up to Evil Dead Rise in a couple weeks. So I'll let you know when that's up. And yeah, like
real
wait,
quick, I finally saw Nathan and I are doing commentaries for Evil Dead.
oh
movies.
yeah, right, yeah.
I saw the first Evil Dead. What the fuck was Sam Raimi cooking? What the hell?
You know, I rewatched the Evil Dead, all of the movies, on March, but I'll save those for April, just because
yeah, we can go over that in April for sure.
Yeah, because I'm sure you're gonna be able to like watch the whole series by the time we get to the April episode. So that's gonna be fun.
Was nuts. I'm like, yo, how do you get away with this in 1981?
I know.
But okay, yeah.
But yeah, Evil Dead Rise, really excited for that. I watched Air yesterday. Have like sort of a review on my Letterboxd, so you want to catch it. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you on the next one, and thank you for watching or listening, whatever you do.